I think the funny thing is that there were actually some fans who thought it was safe at 3-0. I didn't. I didn't for one moment. I obviously in my predictions said that it was going to be a really tough game for Manchester United, and I expected it to be a tough game. And like I say, even at 3-0, I never really thought the game was safe. I am almost glad in a way that Coventry pulled it back to some extent. Obviously, I didn't want them to pull it all the way back, but the game certainly didn't warrant the 3-0 scoreline. I think from a Coventry City perspective, the only real disappointment from them, other than obviously the offside goal, missing that penalty, is why didn't they just go at us from the start? It was so evident that the midfield, again, just wasn't there. Now, I thought Casemiro did all right at centre-back. We'll get onto that shortly. But again, there's just no protection in midfield. You have McTominay, Mainu and Bruno in there. And from the start of the game, you could tell that O'Hare was going to have space in that midfield. And Coventry just sat too deep. They really did. They invited pressure from Manchester United, and obviously we got our goals. The only thing I'll say about our goals is I was actually really impressed with our first goal. Because how many times have I sat here and moaned about Diogo Dalot going on the overlap and then pausing before putting a cross into the box. So I was really pleased to see Dalot put that ball into the box from McTominay's goal. Other than that, I don't really have many positives. Good to see Maguire score from a corner. Third goal was very scrappy. It went in. But like I said, throughout that game, there were opportunities for Coventry to exploit us in the midfield. And it kept building and building and building. The goal, ironically, doesn't come from the midfield. It comes from the defence. Because we've got ourselves in a nice bit of cockiness. We're 3-0 up. There's nothing to worry about. We can just start playing it round the back. Then all of a sudden, Diogo Dalot's at left centre mid. What's he doing over there? Like, this is what we talk about in terms of experience and in terms of game management and composure. Just see out the game. Just see it out. Stay in your shape. Just keep the ball. See out the last 20 minutes. Why Diogo Dalot is running over to the left-hand side of midfield to pick up the ball, lose the ball, and then put us under pressure, I just don't get it. It's stupid. But from there, to make the decision, rather than just deal with the guy who's got the ball, to tell Casemiro, who's dealing with two players, to deal with the one that he's closest to, so he can go back and deal with it. I just don't get it. I don't get what Dalot's doing. He puts Casemiro in an absolutely impossible position. In my opinion, Casemiro does the right thing to go over to the player on the right-hand side because it makes more sense for Dalot to tuck back in and deal with the one in the middle. Absolutely horrific defending. But again, in that situation, where's the midfield? Absolutely non-existent. They're not coming back to help. It comes to 3-1. From there, everything that happens for the remainder of the game is an absolute disaster. But prior to that 3-1 goal, Erik ten Hag makes two substitutions, which once again make no sense whatsoever. I'll be honest with you. When he took Garnacho off, I was like, okay, he's just, you know, we've got another game coming up in midweek. We might still see ourselves as potentially getting into the top 5, top 4. I don't think we will. But he might be seeing it that way. So he's going to take Garnacho off. He's going to take Bruno off. We're 3-0 up. Rest the key players. Make sure we see out the game and whatever. The fact that he takes Garnacho off in isolation is baffling. Absolutely baffling. Rashford, yet again, had done nothing. Garnacho was a constant threat whenever we got the ball out to him. If we got the ball out to him, because we kept going to Rashford, who kept giving it away. But every time we got the ball out to Garnacho, he looked like a threat. And he takes him off and puts Anthony on. Don't get it. Even if he's resting legs, like I say, make the point that it is multiple players you are resting. Don't take off your one bright spark again. I don't get it. Then, when that goal goes in to make it 3-1, and you think, right, what we need to do now is shore up the game, get a little bit more defensive solidarity in there. He takes off Kobbie Mainoo, the guy who's been playing deep the entire game, and puts on Christian Eriksen, who historically doesn't track runners in midfield, as we've spoken about on multiple occasions. I don't get it. It makes no sense. The moment he made those substitutions, he surrendered control of the match. I'm not saying he should have done whatever, but take Rashford off if you're going to put Anthony on. If you're going to take Garnacho off, put a Forson on, put an Ahmad on. Don't put on another player that's a regular first-team player. Give these guys a chance. And if you're going to put Eriksen on, take Bruno off. Don't take Mainu off. It makes no sense. I think Erik ten Hag has done another serious damage to his credentials today. But like I say, the other two goals, So sloppy. We allow the pressure to build. Shot comes in. It comes off Wan-Bissaka. Could Onana do better? I'm not so sure. I got flashbacks to the Gundogan goal. You probably put the two freeze frames side by side. They're both going like this as the ball sort of loops in the bottom near right-hand side. It's not in the corner. It's not in the top corner. It's not in the far side. It drops in sort of like the middle right bottom. Maybe I'm being very harsh on Onana there, but it didn't look good from my opinion. I think Onana could have done better. And then the third goal was a penalty. And I know some people are going to go, oh, well, what about the Jack Grealish one? Well, the Jack Grealish one was a penalty for starters. And this one was more of a penalty than the Jack Grealish one. Yes, proximity is an issue. But you see Wan-Bissaka going into the challenge like this. What do you expect's going to happen when it hits his arm? I'm not going to defend that. 3-3, good penalty from Wright. And we go to extra time and Manchester United have thrown it away. Extra time, we had one chance. We hit the bar. Coventry had a few chances. Wright scuffed it wide. Top produced a good save from Onana. And Ellis Sims hit the bar. So, on the balance of extra time, we probably should have lost. Then the offside. Was it offside? Those lines were very tight. I thought it was offside. But, you know what I mean? Like, with the greatest of respect, it's a championship side. It is a championship side. And I know I said going into this game that I thought we would struggle because Coventry played very well against Wolves and this, that and the other. But it's a championship side. With Manchester United, I'm doing a Gary Neville. This is Manchester United. You don't struggle to beat a championship side. You don't throw away a 3-0 lead against a championship side. It just shouldn't happen. But it's happened. And, okay, we've won on penalties. Do you know what that means? In 4 weeks' time, we get spanked by City. That's what it means. If anyone thinks we're going to win this FA Cup, something drastic is going to happen. Have to happen in the next 4 weeks. We're going to have to wrap all the key players up in cotton wool, have a complete change in ethos, sort out the midfield problem, give more passes to Højlund up front, sort Rashford out, just somehow recover from 15 injuries, and then play the absolute game of our lives. And maybe we have a chance against City. Even if we'd have won this game 3-0, based on that performance, we get spanked by City. Even if we'd have won 3-0. The fact that we've drawn 3-3 and then won on penalties, we will absolutely get spanked by City. I'm not being funny. Our next two games are Sheffield United and Burnley. We should win both of those games. Hands down. If we're serious about qualifying for a European place, we should beat Sheffield United and we should beat Burnley. They are 19th and 20th in the Premier League table. We will struggle to beat both of those sides because they are fighting for their lives, they're giving it everything, and they're going to create chances because we're going to give away chances. So, I don't know what we do from here. I really don't. I've sat here a few times over the last few weeks and I really don't know what we do from here. I just think some sort of overhaul needs to happen. Some of the key players need to have a talking to. Style of play needs to be identified. There were so many times today where the ball went into the wide areas. Doesn't matter who it was, whether it was Bruno out there, Rashford out there, Garnacho out there, Anthony out there, Ahmad out there, Forson out there. Højlund even went out there at times. And it was like, when they look to put the ball in the middle, there's no shape. They don't know where players are. You look at the best teams in world football, or just any team that is well organised. At all times, you know where those players are. You know, you got to look at the job that Glasner's doing at Crystal Palace at the moment. I spoke about it the other day when I did my predictions. He's gone in there and said we're playing 3-4-3 or 5-2-3. He's only been in there 2 months. And you look at the performances that they put in against Liverpool and West Ham in the last 2 weeks. Every single player knows where every single player on the pitch is going to be. He's been there for 2 months, if that. Because he's got the shape, he's got the organisation, everyone knows where they are. When Manchester United play, after 2 years under Erik ten Hag, when we're defending, there is no midfield. When we're attacking, everyone's all over the place. Just how we expect to win in 4 weeks' time, I don't know. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments section. Did we deserve to win? Were Coventry robbed? Should it have been onside? Who knows? I feel bad for Coventry. I really do. I think they... Whatever happens, obviously, regardless, the fans have had an incredible day out from a Coventry perspective. But from what I've seen, as a Manchester United fan, I don't feel we deserve the opportunity to win a trophy from the season that we've had. Yes, we've had injuries. That's the final point I'll make, actually. When McTominay went off injured, Fabrizio Romano put a tweet out saying that is the 65th injury that Manchester United have had this season. 65 injuries. Now, obviously, when you consider the likes of Malacia has only had 1, Luke Shaw's only had 2, Martinez has only had 2. When you add it all up, 65 separate injuries over the course of the season. What is going on with our medical department? What are they not doing right with these players? Because I talk about shape, I talk about cohesion. Changing 2 or 3 players a week due to injury affects that. Yes, the manager should instill an identity. We should be playing a certain style of play. But that amount of injuries cannot help. I cannot deny that. But we'll see what happens. Like I say, Sheffield United, I think, in midweek, and then Burnley at the weekend, should be 6 points. Should, ironically, relegate Sheffield United, then relegate Burnley. But I guarantee we won't win both of those games. And you can clip that. I guarantee we will not win both games against Sheffield United, against Burnley. Guarantee it. Because if we keep playing like that, we will not beat these sides that are playing for more than what we are playing for. Thank you very much for watching. As always, I will be back again with my Premier League predictions for the second half of Game Week 34 tomorrow morning. So hopefully I will see you there. And like I say, let me know your thoughts on Man United. Do we have a chance against City? I certainly don't think so. Thank you very much for watching.